Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Jiu-Jitsu Times podcast. I am your host, Kevin Bradley, joined as always by Kevin Gallagher and a special guest, retired MMA fighter and Ultimate Fighter veteran, Alan Berube. Alan, how are you doing, man?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Oh, man. Well, he's in addition, now 2/3 of the show have won an IBJJF Masters Championship, which just makes me feel out of place because you won last year at Blue Belt, right?
Actually, 2017. I
2017.
Yeah, I went to the Purples the year later, but I had some injuries and stuff. But I lost in the semis. But 17, I won it. Yeah.
Yeah, you decided to let someone else win.
This guy,
very noble
this guy
of
has
you.
a double leg. I swear he can take anyone in the world down with a double leg. I got $100 on anybody you put in front of him.
Remember the bet with Pete? Remember that bet with Pete? We were all drinking.
That's right.
Alan, how many times could you take Kevin down inside 15 minutes?
Probably a lot. I've heard. We've never actually wrestled together, but Arroyo has told me.
Arroyo
told me all about it. Yeah, Arroyo told me all about it. I'm a pretty decent wrestler, but Arroyo told me all about it. He says there's something about that double leg he shoots.
That's all I got.
He just grabs you, and it's one of the you feel like you should sprawl, and you just can't. And before you know it, you're in the air and on your back.
Oh my God! Well,
if you're taking that Arroyo down, you're doing something right.
Hopefully, I'm never on the other end of it. I pull guard like a wimp just because I'm not looking to try hard. I'm looking to lose or win quick with it. I sometimes pull Ezekiel's off. I try to pull off Ezekiel's from like bottom half guard. So that goes to show what I know about anything. But it's a bit light insofar as jiu-jitsu news. So we thought we would bring on an expert to talk about the upcoming McGregor Cowboy fight because holy shit. This thing is going to be fun. This thing is going to be fun. We'll probably talk about other stuff, but fight. This has got me excited. I didn't think I'd get excited for a McGregor fight since his personal life imploded. So let's just get your guys's. Alan, why don't you start off? How does this matchup make you feel?
It's a little bit sad because one of these guys is going home and probably maybe not going to be the same person anymore.
Right, exactly.
One of these guys their career's done.
100%.
Yeah.
So Cerrone probably get another fight or two out of this, and it's cool that he's getting paid. I'm glad that Donald Cerrone is getting a big payday. To say his career is over, he'll still be around the fight, but he's gonna be. There's no more. If he wins this fight, he's got another super fight coming out. But if Conor loses, this is done for Conor. He might as well hang it up.
Yeah, I mean the hype train's over if he loses, right? So
I was actually talking to my roommate, Josh. He's a black belt too, Josh, right? Yeah. I was talking to him earlier about that, about how everything about me believes that Conor McGregor is going to win this fight. I just feel like he's going to come out. I love Donald Cerrone. He's an amazing fighter. I'm very proud of him. I'm happy that he's out there getting paid and yada yada yada. But I just don't see any way.
Cerrone never shows up for the big one,
that's a good point.
He never won that main event. He never made that big,
He's the type of fighter he's a gateway fighter. He's the type of guy that you keep around. He's never really going to be a champion. He's never going to be on top. But you got an up and coming fighter, and you say, "Hey, you want a title fight? Cool. If you could beat Donald Cerrone."
No. Just to interject, I think there are very clear pathways for Cerrone to win. I just wanted to ask both of you, who do you think is better on the ground?
Cerrone.
But Cerrone's he's been a black belt for a while, man. He's been a black belt for probably 5
Didn't he completely break Mike Perry's arm in their fight?
Yeah, he did. He snapped Mike Perry's arm. Then he snapped Mike Perry's arm in half, I think.
I remember there was
broken. I don't think is it broken?
There was an X-ray floating around, and I just remember that armbar was
fake picture.
Oh, that was a fake picture?
Yeah,
but
so.
That arm was so trapped and he was so dominant from the bottom that I think if he wins, it'll be submission.
I think you're probably right. But he said it himself. He said, I want to stand up with this guy, and that's how he is too. It's unfortunate. And a lot of these fighters, they do that. You see these guys that come out you got a Gray Maynard, who was amazing, big time wrestler. And all of a sudden he got a couple knockouts. All of a sudden he was a stand-up guy,
Right.
And a lot of these guys do that. They'll get a knockout. They'll come from jiu-jitsu background. All of a sudden they're trying to stand with everybody. It's stick to what you're good at.
Khabib's starting to do that, and I think if Khabib doesn't watch his ass, that might be his undoing. Because if you watch him trying to stand with Conor, he did catch him with that magic freaking right hand, but it was set up with a shot. But Conor was definitely winning the exchanges on the feet. And if he tries to stand and strike with him,
people forget that. People forget that. They only remember the ending of that fight.
Right.
That was not a bad fight.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a bad fight at all. I still believe that Khabib was winning, hands down, but it wasn't like it was a complete runaway.
Yeah.
What do you think causes fighters to want to do that? What do you think happens inside of their head? Because I have a few theories myself, but what do you think makes a fighter want to do that?
It's the same thing that makes a fighter not want to stand up if they've been knocked out. So you get clipped on the chin, all of a sudden you go from wanted to be a stand-up guy to be a ground guy. It's like it's in your head, Right. And it happened to me. I got knocked out by Jonathan Brookins in Orlando, and I felt like I had a good boxing background growing up. I had a bunch of amateur boxing matches. My stand-up's decent, and I felt great on my feet. And then that happened to me, and your mind pushes you to a different way. And it's not even a thought process. It's like body in motion, right? It happened. And
it's funny you say that, because when coming up from in boxing myself and seeing a lot and watching boxing for years and years and years and watching young fighters, the one thing they talk about when you have a guy that hasn't lost a fight in forever, has never been knocked down, and never have any kind of serious damage happen to him in a fight, then he gets knocked out. The one thing you think about is this guy going to be the same now? Is he going to come back up? And not just because his brains got scrambled, but because he's when you're the best and you're murdering everybody, when you get beat, all of a sudden you second guess yourself. You're going a little bit slow. You back down a little bit.
Cerrone's coming off 2 losses right now, right? Cerrone's coming off 2 losses.
He lost to Tony, and who else did he lose to?
2.
Yeah, let me look it up.
Yeah. I think he lost.
He did. Yeah, he did. Who was the other guy he lost to? They were just talking about it. It was I can't remember. Now it's gonna make me crazy thinking about it too. He beat Mike Perry. Then he lost to
Justin Gaethje.
Justin Gaethje. That's right.
Yeah.
Who's an animal. Justin Gaethje's a freaking nature.
And he knocked out Matt Brown, which I was surprised, man. It's like
Donald, so this is one of the things that makes this fight interesting, because on paper, everybody is pretty much across the board on paper that Conor McGregor is going to win this fight. I mean, his striking is next level, and if Donald Cerrone is dumb enough, which maybe not dumb enough, prideful enough, maybe wants to give the fans what he wants to see.
Hit them with that head kick, clank.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, Donald Cerrone's stand-up is not like, he's not a scrub. It's just the fact that
was
Conor is so much.
His game. He was always a better stand-up guy back in the day. WEC.
When he knocked out that young kid with that 4-punch freaking combination, went high and low, and then back up high again, and hit him in the freaking head. Who was that kid? I'm surprised, and I can't remember his name. But it was a great. I mean, his striking is amazing, but Conor McGregor is just next level, man. It's not even going to be close. I feel like it's going to be a knockout in the first round.
I noticed that. Yeah, I was just about to say no one here is even entertaining the possibility of a decision. Like, this is you think no matter which way this goes, it's going to be
it could be five rounds, a 5-round decision with these guys.
I'm going to tell you what, I think the longer the fight goes, the better chance Donald maybe has.
100%.
Oh yeah, Conor 100%. Famously, his gas tank is not.
And he's going to have that. He's going to have that extra weight on him. He's going to be heavier and stronger. He's not going to be able to maintain past halfway through the second round. He's going to be done for.
You're going to see his mouth open like he did with Diaz.
Right. But I just don't see any world at all.
His soul was completely out of his body by the last part of his Diaz fight.
Yeah, I mean, I had him losing both those fights, but I'm a Diaz. Yeah, you're
a Diaz. You were on the show. You were on the show, right? Yeah,
right. Diaz is a great guy.
He's awesome. Yeah, he's super cool, man. He's super cool.
Yeah,
man.
I'm glad that he's finally begun to get the respect. He's always felt like he was deserving of, and it's.
The funny thing is, he's never swayed. He's never swayed from who he is. He's never tried to be anyone but who he is.
No. Neither you gotta show. I mean, almost to his own detriment. Even now, with the opportunities for him to get fights, he literally has turned down so many different fights because he's like, "Fuck you guys, I don't want to fight. I'm not gonna fight unless I'm fighting on a main card, unless I'm getting paid." Because I'm fucking Nate Diaz, and I deserve to get paid. And if I don't get paid, I don't give a shit. I'll go back to living in a trailer and be fine with it.
I'll fight 5 pit bulls for money, man. I don't care.
100% his philosophy. You got to respect
that. If you meet him, a lot of people they see what they see on TV, but when you meet Nate, he's such a nice guy. You can't picture him doing anything ridiculous like outside of that. Well, like if you didn't know he was a fighter and you just met him,
you never know it.
He's such a humble, nice dude.
Right,
you know,
right.
He came to Monster Lobster. He brought all his boys when I had the Monster Lobster in Las Vegas, and they were so respectful and everything.
Yeah,
it's like, they're good dudes.
Yeah, it's a lot of guys, a lot of fighters are like that. I mean, I think a lot of guys that train constantly and they're constantly surrounded by violence understand it's Joe Rogan was talking about this the other day. It's the understanding of violence and realizing that you got nothing to prove, like and you understand the real repercussions of violent acts. You know, you're not afraid to do them. You know, we do it all the time. Like, I do it for a living. Right. We understand that like this violence is going to have serious repercussions, maybe jail times. I might actually hurt you and kill you, or I don't know, maybe you kill me. You follow me? But we realize that because we're around a little time, and like civilians just don't get that shit.
Civilians. Listen, man, when you're like me and you got to kill 18 alligators just to get to your car every morning, you know, to wade through the swamps of Florida, you know, it just is how it is.
Yeah, it's better than living. I'm up here in Maine. We got like half a foot of snow today.
Yeah,
man, no! Yeah. Oh, Maine's beautiful though.
You're in Jersey, right? Or you're upstate?
I'm in Jersey. I'm in Jersey right now. It's so windy right now. It's like my house is almost going to blow.
Oh, really?
Over.
You're Jersey?
Yeah. Down by Manahawkin.
You follow a lot of wrestling?
No.
A lot of wrestling in Jersey.
Hang on one second. Yeah, my dad was he went to school in like West Orange and he was like captain of the wrestling team for a while. And so like it's definitely huge. Lacrosse and wrestling seem to be the huge.
I started a youth wrestling program here in Maine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you what your tag youth wrestling at the bottom of the screen was. That's cool.
Yeah, I got 63 kids on our team.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, my son wrestled this summer in Atlantic City in the Harris. Yeah, Harris. Yeah.
Speaking of kids, tell us how many kids you got right now, Monster.
I got 6 kids.
6.
What? Yeah.
6 kids.
I got a 9-year-old daughter, Sophia. I got my 8-year-old son, my little wrestler, Talon. I got Aviana, she's 3. I got boy-girl twins, that's Roman and Thalia. And then I got baby Jagger. I named him Jagger King. His middle name's King.
Alan,
he's 2 months old.
Alan, hey, you know, I think you're good. I think you're you can pump the brakes anytime, man.
Now he's gonna have another one. He's ready.
I want to be able to fill up. I want to be able to fill up the New York Jets with my kids. I want to be able to field the Patriots just with my kids.
Lucky number 7 coming.
Lucky number 7.
Oh wow!
Yeah. No, we're gonna count. Yeah, not yet, but
not yet.
Oh, holy!
Another winter staying inside all year.
I'm gonna tell you, each one of my kids could chew the hell out of most of the UFC. Let me tell you right now.
What's a day like for you with 6 kids, man? How crazy is your day? Is it just?
So I mean, I could sit here and like.
I know you love kids. You love it. One thing I can know about you is you love it. You're amazing. I know you love your kids.
Yeah, you know, but it's we got a lot of help. My wife is like, she's a rock star, you know. So
right.
With that, we have a live-in nanny. So
there you go.
And so it's, you know, they let me do my thing, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I get out of the house, go work. Yeah.
and also you got not only that, but you're responsible for so many kids in this wrestling program. That's you're getting all the practice you could ever need for managing a huge team.
So awesome. Yeah. I mean, we got 13 kindergartners. We got 35 kids from 1st to 4th grade, and the rest of them are 5th grade and up. And we didn't have a wrestling team in my town 5 years ago. Me and my boy Marty. You remember Marty, right?
Yeah, Marty.
Yeah, me and Marty started the program like 5 years ago. We bought wrestling mats. They had no high school wrestling team, no nothing. But we got the biggest high school in the state. So we approached the dean and we asked him, hey, you know, get some space for us. He's like, that's a great idea. And if you guys have a successful time, I'll entertain the idea of a high school team in a few years. So now we got my boy Ryan, my cousin Roger. We got a Daryl. All the guys are helping coach. And now we've grown it to 63 kids. We have an actual middle school team, and next year we get a high school team.
Hang on, Alan. I'm gonna boot Kev from the because his camera hasn't come on in a while, so I'm gonna try and
shit.
I'm gonna remove him.
I can see him fine.
Oh, you
Yeah,
can see him?
I can see me. Yeah, I can see me up.
Oh, okay. It's just something on my end. Then never mind.
Kevin was gonna boot you.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna
shit.
fucking. Who's this
I
fucking
was
guy?
gonna be
bro?
like, all right, now he's finally gone. But so how long have you been running? Like you said, 5 years.
5 years now.
5 years and 63 kids.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able to.
40.
Is the plan to eventually just try and take over the town you live in and like close it off from the government?
No, my game plan hopefully is to have our own. We want to get our own gym. You know, you guys get the jiu-jitsu gyms down there. I want year-round wrestling. Someday we'll have our own gym. Make it super cheap. Just try to make enough to pay the bills in the place and let kids wrestle for free to next to nothing, just to keep on growing it. Because wrestling to me is. I mean, it made me who I am. And I'm telling you, there's 63 kids that are wrestling this year that we changed their lives because wrestling is going to make them better human beings, hard workers, grinders. They're going to be better for it. So I think it's important. We saved 63 kids from being basketball players,
You saved. A bunch of kids from being basketball players.
That's cool,
Jesus
man.
Christ.
That's
you
cool,
just
man.
stole the New York Nets' like possible future out from under them.
They're from Maine. We ain't got no 6-footers in Maine.
Yeah, right.
Lumberjacks.
Alan, have you ever
bunch of lobstermen? Bunch of 3-foot lobstermen.
the only wrestling I've ever experienced was like I was looking for something to supplement my jiu-jitsu early on, just because I went to school in upstate New York and there was no grappling whatsoever at the school, and it was a nightmare. But there was this guy, I think his name was Jeff Prescott. He was like a Penn State wrestler. I think he had like a few wrestling schools, and it was all like super young kids. And I was 175 at the time, and these little kids were still like double legging me into the next week.
Yeah,
like
look,
they didn't care.
You got kids in Pennsylvania. Like my son started at 4. He's got 230 wrestling matches under his belt. He's only 8 years old. So
that's great.
I mean, he goes out there. There's no stress. There's no pressure on him. It's like it's a game to him. It's like playing remote control cars. He doesn't. If you ask him when did you wrestle, what are you talking about? I've been wrestling forever. I always wrestled them. So
that's such a huge thing too. To not just learn how to wrestle, but to learn how to compete and to become so second nature with being a competitor that you don't even think about it anymore. It's just another day.
So much more than much more than just wrestling. These kids, we have kids that are just starting out. They're having to wrestle against kids that have been going for a while. You got to like pick them up off the mat. They're 9 years old. They're crying. They just got beat in front of 1,000 people. What kind of pressure is that? I tell them, look, guys, you're doing something that you're only 1% of the people walking this planet have done. All the people in the crowd yelling at you and stuff, they ain't never done this.
Yeah, they never done that shit.
You're part of this fraternity. There's about 1% of people that got in front of a crowd of people to fight in a cage, on a mat, in a ring, whatever it is. I mean, that's something to be said. And so I got to build these kids up before they get back out there 15 minutes later to go again after they just got beat up. So you got to. What
do you think? What do you think the reason is that wrestling wrestlers seem to be such good MMA fighters? And we always talk about that, but I'd like to hear your thing on it. What do you think? What are some of the reasons that wrestling creates great UFC fighters or MMA fighters?
Because they start so young and they learn how to grind at an early age. Yeah. Like they get through stuff. I'm going to tell you, one of the best stories was a couple of years ago. My son was getting beat by this one kid every single week, and like one of the first times he got beat by the kid like scratched him or was choking him or something. Oh, he was choking him, and then and Talon stopped wrestling. He just like laid on his back, and the kid pinned him. And he comes over to me and he's crying. And I'm like, and I always act, I don't give him, he's crying. I'm just like, hey, what's the matter? Like, I act stupid. Like, what happened? Why are you crying?
What?
And he's like, he was choking me. And I was like, man, that stinks. But why'd you stop wrestling? And he was like, well, because he was choking. I was like, dude, if you stop, now he's 6 when I'm telling this. I said, listen, if you stop wrestling, okay, and he's choking you, I can't stop it. You're going to die. I was like, you don't want to die, do you? I don't even know you're choking out there. You got to keep fighting. You got to stop him from choking you. You don't stop fighting. So he's thinking about it. He's like, and it wouldn't be like a week later, the same kind of thing happened. He gets up after the round. He comes to me. I was like, he's crying again. I was like, what's wrong, Talon? And he's like, it's not easy out there, Dad. I'm just trying to fight through this stuff,
That's great, dude. That's great,
you get
dude.
a 6-year-old thinking like that,
right?
Dad, life ain't fair, man.
I went to the Boston Open about a month after that, and I went by myself, and I brought Talon with me. So Talon was there on the sideline with my water bottle. I made it to the finals. The guy that I went against, he had taken my back and he had my gi across hip, bite my tongue. We ran out of time. The guy beat me, but he had scratched my face. And I went over to Talon, and Talon's like, "Are you okay, Dad? You're bleeding." And I was like, "Yeah, it was tough, man." He goes, "Did it hurt?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, it did. But I didn't stop, did I?" And it was like a full circle experience.
Right.
Oh, man.
It's right there, dude,
Yeah, dude.
I love it.
When you get kids learn at such accelerated rates. I'm always amazed at that, because I don't do a lot of teaching with kids just because I just can't do it. It's hard for me. I don't like it. You have to with kids, a lot of times you have to spend most like 20% of the time, 30% of the time, almost 50% of the time sometimes, just getting their attention, making them want to pay attention to you. Right. I teach private lessons all day long to rich people, and they hang off my every word like it's like it's gospel. You know what I mean? Because they respect me as the authority on a subject that I am. So it's difficult for me sometimes, maybe it's my ego or whatever, to deal with a kid, because I'm just looking at this kid and I'm like I don't want to try, I don't want to spend time trying to make you listen to what I'm saying. Right. But the point is this, like, I can take a kid, because I have taught kids before, so I can take a kid that's about 8-9 years old, and I can teach him an arm bar, and like I can literally have to like make them like, please listen to me, and they're not paying attention, they're looking off into space, and like they get through it, but whatever, done deal. And then I can take like a kid, and I can sit with them, and or an adult, and I can sit with them, and I can show them the same arm bar.
They're literally I'm gonna pick something for you right now. I'm gonna tell you how to do it.
All right. Well, let me finish my story real quick. So I can take an adult, and I can teach them an arm bar and show them the same arm bar, and like it'll take when they get done, like, and they're hanging on every word I'm saying. They're listening, trying to figure everything out. The point of the matter is the 8-year-old will probably still know how to do the arm bar better than the adult will, because kids just learn things at such ridiculously accelerated rates. They learn things despite themselves, which is why when you put them in wrestling at an early age like that, they're learning these ridiculous life lessons, toughness, grinding at accelerated rates, that they just become a part of them. Toughness isn't even toughness anymore for them. It's just like, it's just what they do. It's like it's walking down the street. It's just a part of what they are. Help me with my kids. Tell me what I gotta do with my kids. I'm gonna
tell you right now. So I do. So we have kindergartners, okay? And kindergartners, they are difficult, man. They are like it's like holding Jello in a strainer, okay? And so when I'm trying to do it by myself, it ain't working out. I bring my son Talon in. He's a couple years older than the kids. He's got some game. He's got an idea how to wrestle now, right? Right. So now I involve him in the practice with me to help me train these kids. And I was like, okay, you guys, you're going to do a double leg on Talon. Are you guys ready? Right. Or you also make it bigger. You're like, we're going to teach them. I say, hey, guys, I'm going to teach you a move, okay? But it's dangerous. I need to get your word before I teach it to you. Can I get your word? I make everyone shake my hand. You're like, what is he going to teach us? Thinking, So now all of a sudden, this top secret move that they're going to be taught to pin somebody, I said, you cannot use this at school because I'll get in trouble. They're going to come get me because I taught you this dangerous move. You got to pay attention to this though, okay? Because this is dangerous, right? So, and then I get Talon involved me. Now all the kids are like, they want to learn this move because it's this top secret thing that nobody knows, right? I'm telling you, you got to be like that, animated and everything. You can't talk to them like an adult.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing about Mr. Monster Lobster, Alan Berube. He is probably the best salesman you ever meet in your entire life.
I've only just met him, and I already
you're ready. You're like, tell me. So when are we gonna learn this secret move?
I got it.
I think I've told this story before, but my dad came up with this was when he was on the wrestling team. He had a yearbook quote that he almost got expelled for, and I've always wanted to know if it was accurate. Like if you could tell me if it checks out. Mm-hmm. It was, wrestlers eat their dead.
Wow, that was a bad one.
I
You almost got
mean,
expelled for that. Jeez, that's
yeah. I mean, the school was just like, hey, Kev, you got to tone it down. He is also named Kevin.
that's pretty good. We got to have him on.
Oh yeah,
Kevin
just
Cute.
like I don't think having KKK as a topic would probably
We'll
be
have to get a fourth one on.
Yeah. But I think the idea is that I think the idea is that like once you've done like his whole philosophy is like once you've done wrestling, everything else is sort of just easy, just because I got to put up with crap in a boardroom.
I'm going to tell you, as a kid, I joined the wrestling team. I was never like a grinder. I don't even know why the hell I kept going back because my parents didn't push me to it. I'm like, I look back, I'm like, why the hell did I even keep wrestling? I don't even know why. It sucked, like doing stairs and doing all the shit that goes along with it. But you just do it. People are wrestlers. You're a wrestler and you're born a wrestler. It's.
I know a lot of guys that wrestled in college, and across the board, all of them are successful. A lot of guys that are, Division I scholarship athletes that wrestled in college, and across the board, every single one of them is either an attorney or a doctor or something along those lines.
If you're hiring and someone comes in with cauliflower ear, you don't even interview them.
Just hire him. Give him the job.
That guy knows how to work.
That guy knows how to work. That's 100%. You can't say those same things a lot of times about football players and basketball players. A lot. It doesn't equate to the same thing. I'm not talking trash, but I'm just saying.
Kevin, you're talking trash. We can't start beef with like tall basketball players and
we can.
We can't.
I'm small.
No, we can't get. We got your back.
You can take it.
Alan, you gotta come and save my.
I guarantee
you got
a friend in Monster Lobster now. He's only in Maine. He'll come. Once you're friends with him, you're in for life.
I mean, Alan, you gotta. Next time I'm in Maine, you gotta show me where the good crab cakes are. Just because I love me some crab cakes.
Done deal.
Some good lobster, man.
Monster lobster. So what do you got? What are you working on now? What's your product? Tell us about your belt.
Dude, I got something big. I mean, listen, I'm the guy. I think of something and I just go for it. Like there's never been something that I thought about that it didn't matter the cost or what it was. I mean, I developed a picture sharing app. It hasn't really blown up, but I got it done. It's like a really cool concept, good idea. I got 150 grand into this thing. It hasn't gone anywhere, but it's one of these things that I've tried. It didn't work. Something else, another idea. I got it, tried it. This one right here is good though. So, being in the jiu-jitsu game again, I was training and I had a stripe on my belt and I was like, the stripes, they fall off. They're, pain in the ass. You see the coaches up front when they're going to give you the stripe, that like a Royal, he's got 500 students, So when he does a belt promotion, he might have to rip 70, 80, 100 pieces of that white tape that he has to put on the belt. So I was like, what could you do to get around having to deal with that damn white tape? So I came up with an idea for a patent, and I patented the idea. It's, the black bar on the end of the belt. Okay. So what we do is this black bar has white stripes underneath it. Okay. And then what you do is we take this, we peel back the tape, and you got a white stripe underneath. Okay. Now,
man,
4 stripes under there. Now it saves the problem. This is sewn on. Okay. So it's very sturdy. You can wash the belts. You can do whatever. The stripes aren't coming off, and neither is the tape that I have on here. So I called it Signature Brand Belts, and we started making them. I got a few big meetings coming up with some very well-known belt jiu-jitsu companies, and I got a patent pending on this, so that's why I put it out there. It's a pretty slick.
Now, so what you're telling me is I can promote myself. Like if I'm feeling down, I can.
I mean,
you can just get a white piece of tape and put it on your belt anytime you want.
Put a white piece of tape on whatever you want to. Exactly.
You'll just get shit for it. But no, that is. It's funny you were saying that just because I don't have my belt with me, but I got my stripe a while ago on my blue belt, and it's already like it's barely hanging on. Like I'm just thinking like I got to have my coach put another one on eventually.
And coaches hate that shit,
Oh, they do. They're just like, don't bother me. I don't want to do this.
And listen, and ask the coach like an Arroyo that has that many students. It's a pain in the butt ripping the tape.
It is a pain in the butt. You got to rip them off and you put them on a little table or like a little table or like a little clipboard and hold on to them, and then they stick together. It's a big pain in the butt, especially when you're doing, putting on 150, 200 stripes in a belt ceremony.
So, my next idea with the belt is going to be, I called it signature brand. And the reason why I did that, it's like a marketing thing, because my idea is to kind of make this belt almost like Nike did with the shoes for basketball. So, basketball players, they get a sneaker deal. Well, we can make jiu-jitsu guys get a belt deal. Okay. So what you do is we're going to put a signature of maybe someone that's very well known on the belt. It'll be embroidered, their exact signature embroidered. They'll be numbered, okay? 1 to 2,000 white belts, 1 to 2,000 blue belts, all the way up through, okay? You get a authentication card. It's almost like a baseball card that's also signed. Comes in a nice box. We upcharge for the belt. Then that box that you're getting with your belt in the beginning, after you're promoted to your next belt, you use it as a display case. It goes with the authentication card. Maybe the belts become worth something because they were numbered and they're, signature.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's a good belts. A lot of guys like to save their belts, man. A lot of guys like to like. I have all my belts in a box somewhere.
You like also a lot of places you have multiples of the same belt just because you got to use a different one for competition. Like if you have a ratty blue belt that you can't, some places need for you to have like a new belt that's not ratty, and stuff like your day in day out belt and then your competition belt. My blue belt was actually one of my friend Jeff Nelson's old competition belt, and so like now it's just my regular belt. But I see like Mirkatsu, like that dude on Instagram, he's like doing like he's also doing like high art like signature belts. So there's definitely, it seems like there's a market for that. And you've also got a really solid idea built into the belt where it serves a purpose.
Yeah, that
I didn't even think about.
And I patented every way you could put a stripe on a belt. I patented. I mean, adhesive, Velcro, sewn. I did it all. And then every way you could cover the stripe, I covered it all. I mean, iron on, adhesive, tape, glue, all of it. I covered our bases because I feel like if I could make that the standard, game over, right?
Fuck yeah.
Now, I do have a question, and I know that this is almost blasphemous just because you're not supposed to wash the belt. You'll go back to sucking at jiu-jitsu if you wash your belt.
Yeah. That was one of my obstacles, actually.
Yeah,
I was wondering, is it machine washer safe? Or?
Yep, it sure is. And it wasn't. Yeah, trust me, it took me a few months to get it down exactly so I could wash it 100 times now. It's not coming off.
Oh man, well, I'm definitely gonna have to check it out. I might have to drive up to Maine and see what all the fuzz is.
You should drive up to Maine to see Monty anyway. It's the best.
Listen,
I have a Jeep, so I could probably get through the sno just fine.
I messaged you a video of the belt. Arroyo taking the tape off and explaining how the belt works. So if you get a chance, post it on your page, dude. Love that.
Oh, hey, man, sure. We'll definitely look into that. Now, it seems like this is going to be a bit of a shorter one just because, there's not a whole lot of news and like we covered a lot of stuff. But overall, I just wanted to we covered just very briefly that like Cowboy seems to have
this is where I train at in Maine here.
Southern Maine Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, shout out.
Under Rodrigo, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Now, do you think Conor will take any lessons from the Khabib fight in terms of staying off the ground and apply them to Cowboy should he want to take the fight to the ground?
Conor is just like any kind of gamer. He believes in himself, and he probably believes in himself too much. He's going into this thing real confident. I feel like it could be Conor's night completely, but he could also be kind of looking past Cowboy. Like Cowboy coming off 2 losses. Maybe that's why he took this fight like this. He thinks he can go through, but the Cowboy's a really tough opponent for just about anyone. He doesn't go down without a fight. You've never seen him just get worked, So I feel like, this could be, and he's got that tall body like a Diaz.
Right.
I mean,
he's very similar in frame to Diaz, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see him at the weigh-in tomorrow to see what they look like matched up to one another. See how much bigger Cerrone is.
One of Conor's advantages is his jab and the length he has on people.
Right, and if you take that away from him, that's why he had problems with Diaz. But he ended up landing pretty good with Diaz too. So I think, but Diaz is also a very slow, plodding puncher, so it's easy to get inside of those punches. Cerrone has sharp, crisp punches with range and length and blah 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 blah. I still think Conor knocks him out. Yeah. I want to believe just because the little devil in me, the anarchist in me, wants to see the whole UFC go
that's why
upside
they fight,
down.
right? Because we don't know what the hell's going to happen.
That's exactly right. That's why they fight. You don't know. Conor McGregor hasn't fought in almost 2 years now, a year and a half.
Also,
now.
He's just been up and down personally. Although he's changed a lot of things up in his camp. He hasn't touched alcohol apparently in a few months. He's day in, day out. He's looking better in training. The footage. My
impression is this: is Conor McGregor doesn't really need the money. So the money isn't the motivation for this fight. The motivation for this fight is to go back on top and show the world that he's Conor McGregor, because he still has that little bit inside of him that wants to go out and do that. So that being said, I believe he is 100% prepared and ready to go to this fight. And we're going to see a very focused, prepared Conor McGregor at a bigger weight, which is pretty frightening.
What happens?
We don't know that.
No, what happens if Conor gets knocked out?
Oh God!
Oh, the world has changed.
The world has changed.
Up is down, left is right, and Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah,
he's getting immediate title shot.
Maybe not. He lost. He got the shit kicked.
Okay, real quick. His loss to Ferguson was bad, but that was doctor stoppage just because his eye got closed up, and obviously
he wasn't winning that fight though.
No. I know, but I
just want to see. I want to see the mess go down.
Cowboy, Conor McGregor is such a golden lion that I think. If you take him down,
you retire.
No. I think the rules.
That's way to go out right there.
Would be awesome.
Done.
Mike. You probably make about $3 million. You know what I mean? Done. What else you got to do?
He's getting signature Bud Light deals. He'll have someone will probably give him a TV show. He doesn't need to do shit.
Yeah.
He can just make his bones off of that. But I don't think he wants to. I think he wants to keep doing it.
I agree with you, Kev. But
when I met him?
Yeah,
I met Cerrone when I was coming off the Ultimate Fighter. I had to fight Leonard Garcia in the Ultimate Fighter finale, and at the time, no one knew who Cerrone was. Really, he was kind of just coming up in the WEC. He was in the
WEC, right?
But he wasn't big yet, And we were hanging out I was hanging out with those guys at the pool and stuff before the fight. And Leonard was such a nice guy, and Cowboy was and I hit it off with the guy. He was super nice, and he was cornering Leonard. But ever since then, every time I'd see that guy out, he's like, "Yo, Monster Lobster, what's up, man?" He always recognized me.
That's cool.
There's
definitely what I know of UFC fighters. I've known a few of them: Matt Arroyo, freaking Billy Q. I met Joe Lazone, blah 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 blah. A few other people like that. There's definitely, because there's not a whole lot of guys that have fought in the UFC. So there's definitely a fraternal nature of people that have been UFC fighters. If you fought, and no, don't make no bones about it. If you fought in the UFC, you are legit. Because that is not easy to do. It's not.
I haven't met many assholes. Although Matt Hughes is an asshole.
Do you hear that? Real quick, do you hear that, CM Punk?
Everybody says that.
You're a high level fighter, CM Punk. You deserve to be there.
Anyone that walks with a cage.
I just caused so many problems for myself. I don't know why I did that.
Well, if
WWE fans are gonna get on my ass.
If you got the balls to walk in that bitch,
I like CM Punk. I thought it was fun. I'm on paper. I think there's a lot of guys that.
I was hoping he'd win something.
They put him against the high level brown belt. What did they think was going to happen?
He looks so bad. He looks so horrible.
No, but also Mickey Gall is a high level grappler.
Yeah, but
Who else is going to put him against? I mean, he got nobody.
Everybody, but everyone in the UFC is good though. Sam. That's the problem. If you're in the UFC, there's no one you can be like, oh, what tomato can do we have here for free?
You know what you do? You go over to Bellator, you poach some of their like low tier guys.
But then
like
is
the same
really,
guys.
But then is it a UFC fight? Is the question.
Yes, it is because it's happening on the UFC card. If whoever they keep feeding Dylan Dennis, get those guys. And I'm not making. Dylan's a high level like fighter and grappler. No disrespect, but also like you're bashing cans, my man. Like no problem. Him and AJ. I want him and AJ to fight just completely randomly. Yeah.
You know AJ Agason, right?
Oh yeah. He was just up here in Maine, actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, I had a jiu-jitsu match against him back when we were blue belts in Orlando years and years ago.
That's awesome.
I almost got the double leg on him too.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool.
I didn't get it though. I didn't get it on him.
That's cool.
Well, he was a wrestler.
He wrestled Ohio State.
Yeah, I broke a rib wrestling him. Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, dude, Kev, what do you say? What do you say we let Monster go to bed, man? He's got to deal with
I think we got two very old men on this show. One of whom has a family, and he needs to get all the sleep he can afford.
I've got tiny chihuahuas. I have to do that.
We'll throw up links to whatever you want to reference. Like we'll do that in post. We'll throw it up there.
Cool.
But a big fight this weekend. It's going to be awesome. We're all looking forward to it. But it's time to go to bed. There's a little shorter episode for you. Easier for me to edit in the post. I have been Kevin Bradley, joined by Kevin Gallagher.
Alan Berube, the monster.
Alan Berube, the monster. Good night, everybody.
Later.